All right, so here we are. I get my glove back on. It's just cold, man. Got to turn on all my buttons on my phone and then get the glove back on because holy smokes. It's like probably minus 15, minus 20 again today. Very crisp. The sun is out a little bit. Some soft clouds in the sky. Mostly blue though. Just a bit of a haze in the sky. So the sun is coming through, but actually right here, nice spot right here. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Give me the light, baby. Yes, as I trip over branches. Man, that is nice. That's probably 5 degrees extra warmer on my face right now. Anyway, enough sitting here meandering in the sun. I actually wanted to make an express type of video today. So the question I'm bringing up today is, can you do a sort of an express connection? Should you wait? Maybe is it better to wait until you've got the time to actually spend to be with the trees and to be in nature and to just take your time with it? Or can one do a quick little connection, like a little 5-10 minute connection break? And you know what I'm about to say. Of course, why couldn't you? Of course you can. There's no rules, there's no hard and fast rules to all this. We're making the rules. There are no rules, right? We're the rule breakers of the forest. We're the druids. We only care about the laws of the universe, the higher laws, right? We care not for rules. Rules are made to be broken anyway. Anyway, enough about rules. Maybe that's what this connection will be about, who knows? But man, this is one of my favorite trees. If I were to guesstimate, I'd say we have probably half a dozen of these trees on the property. I've encountered at least 5 or 6. I haven't connected with one yet at the spiritual level. Whoa, I'm just noticing there's 2 of them. I'm actually standing next to the one that I wasn't gonna even film. So there's 2 of them. Okay, well, there's 3 of them. Oh, 4 of them. Wow. Holy smokes. When you have the eyes to see. When you have the eyes to see, things just pop right out at you. Now, I don't know the health. Anyway, enough suspense. It's the black cherry, right? And if you know me, you probably know that I love cherries. I'm a fan of the cherry, the fruit, the flavor. I like the color red. I'm all about the cherry. And this is a black cherry, so it's got the black and the red in it. It's amazing. These are my two prime colors, my 2 solid colors are black and red for many different reasons that we'll talk about some other day. But this is a black cherry tree, and so my estimate is wildly mistaken. I just see another one. Another one just popped out. And I bet you if I keep looking, I'll see more and more and more. So the estimate's probably more at the dozen trees now. If not, maybe 2 dozen. I'm not even sure. I'd have to go around specifically looking for them, but the reason why they're popping out at me so easily now is that I know what they look like. They're very easy to identify. If you take a look at these, I always thought of them as like having dinosaur scales. That's what it looks like to me. These scales are, it looks like they would just flake right off, but they're actually, see, okay, that one did, just because they wanted to prove me wrong. But typically, even though they look like they would flake right off, probably because it's winter and I was just leaning on it, but they won't easily break off. Like, they're still attached, even though there's parts of it that lift off of the main part of the bark here. See, like this one, it's still very much attached. That's not going to fall off anytime soon, unless a big dope like me comes along and leans on it, of course. So we'll try to be careful here. But man, easy to identify tree, beautiful wood. The cherry wood is used for all kinds of things. Has a interesting smell to it, a sweetness to it. I don't remember what the leaves look like. I guess that's inconsequential for this conversation, but yeah, the idea here is that we want to do a quick connection, and maybe the fact that there's a whole bunch of them around, creating like a a collective aura will just lend to this process. So find a spot on the tree that doesn't have ice or snow, preferably, and we'll see like the last one, not to compare, but the last one, well, one of the last ones we did was the butternut, and that one had a very warm, noticeably warm to the touch. This one is kind of like in between. It's not cold, it's not hot, it's like Goldilocks zone. And I'll even make my intention very clear here to the collective black cherry trees, is I'm looking for an express message, trying to sort of prove a point here, make a point that we can connect, even though trees are a slower moving, slower thinking, slower vibrating consciousness. We can still connect with them in a relatively short amount of time. But okay, so the message is that you still need some time. You can't just come along and expect to just touch the tree for 5 seconds and then receive some powerful, profound message. This tree is saying, the collective is saying that that's not the way that it works. So you need to set aside a certain amount of time. Yeah, it's not even a set amount of time, like a unit. It's not a measurement of time. It is, you need to set aside the amount of time necessary to receive the message, to effectively and fully receive the message. So it's one of communication, right? I'm saying right to the tree, like it's going to validate, and it did, with the stipulation that, okay, I'm not quite sure what that means, but it's more akin to power lines. It's saying something to do with electricity. Could you clarify that a little bit for me? Okay, so how the trees in this area, this is a good example actually, thank you, tree. So they're all lined up kind of like in a line, like power lines. And it's saying that they not only use the ground and the roots and the mycelium and to communicate, but they also communicate through the air, like a power grid would. But instead of using cables and running cables, it's using the ether. Did I get that wrong? Ether is probably the word, not air, or maybe both. And now it's saying water. Okay, so maybe it's a combination of all the elements. Right. So yeah, earth, water, air, ether, the sun. Right. Okay. So it uses all the elements and all of the energy available to it to communicate, not just one form. It's not like us where we pick up our phone and this is our main medium of communication. Trees have many different, did I get that right? Many different forms and many different mediums of communication. Yeah, so in that short amount of time, it's saying that's all that they have for me. Thank you, though. And that's the message you'll get, right? It might not be one that's that deep, or that's that meaningful, or maybe it is, right? Again, no rules here, no expectations one way or another, right? We get what we get, and given the amount of time that I just spent, which is very short, that was pretty deep. That's pretty deep for me. That's pretty profound. Like, to get that message in that short amount of time, what a gift, you know. Thank you, black cherry. Oh, love those trees. I love all the trees, but I mean this one, unreal. So this next one, I didn't know if we had any left, but again, like the black cherry, I'll bet you if I start looking around, I'll find all kinds of them. So just to lead up to this story, to this tree, so the story goes, we had one of these, and I'll just get it out of the way. It's a bitternut hickory, okay, not butternut like last time. but this is a bitternut hickory, and I wasn't even sure if we had any left. We had one big one in the main trail here. There's the cabin. I don't know if you can see it. It's a bit fuzzy here today. Wait, it's giving it a dreamy effect, I suppose. Anyway, there's the cabin there. And that's the main path. So along the main path, to get the cabin in place, we had to unfortunately cut down a few trees. Most of them were cedar. There was a couple cedar we had to take down, which is not a huge loss. I hate to cut down any tree regardless of what species it is, but the cedar was not as much of a loss because it's I shouldn't say that, but you understand what I'm saying. We really tried to do everything we could not to cut down any maples, and the maples that were there were mature maples, so I wasn't about to cut down any maples. One that I really felt bad about though was the bitternut hickory, and it was this big tree. Not quite as big as some of the other trees that we featured on the series, but sizable tree nonetheless. And if you know anything about the bitternut hickory, and I apologize for the dogs dogging around. They're in their element right now. That's what they love to do. Just come and wrestle in the woods, run around and chase each other. Anyway, so here's the tree, and just take a quick look at the bark. So to first of all get a sense for what the tree looks like. And again, we can't use, actually, funny enough, I think, just want to make sure before I say anything. But yeah, funny enough, there's actually a leaf right here, a dried leaf on this branch that just so happens to be hanging down. So we can actually get, for once, dummy, don't do that. We can for once get a picture of the leaf, even in the winter time. I was going to say in winter you can't use the leaf to tell what type of tree it is and get a sense for it, the physical characteristics, but in this case we kind of can, sort of. Anyway, I don't know if you can even see that. It's a different looking leaf. Anyway, it's a different tree. It's a very unique type of tree because it's very dense. Like you can't get a sense for it. Like this thing is not moving, and it's also winter time, so it's like frozen. But this thing, like you just knock on it and it like just a light tap on your knuckles kind of hurts. That's how dense it is. Like if I come over here and if I knock on this, it looks like a dead ash. Poor ash. Poor ashes. Like it has a hollowness to it almost, and it's not just the bark. Like it's not quite as dense. That's still a hard wood, but it's not nearly as dense as this. Like this has no give. It's, you know, it's barely moving as I'm leaning on it. It doesn't sway nearly as much as the other trees, not as flexible. But boy, that wood, it's just incredible. The fibers are just so compact. Like, from my experience, it's not a great burning wood. There's a couple issues with it, and it takes a long time for it to dry out. The ones that we were burning, really hard to split, first of all, and tough to burn unless it's been seasoned for a couple of years, I would say. Anyway, point being, it's a unique tree, and it's one that I wasn't even sure if we still had on the property. So when I stumbled upon this one, and again, when you have the eyes to see, they just pop out at you. But let's get a quick message from this one. Again, making my intention clear that this is a kind of an express connection, that I'm not here for very long, but that I still want to give the tree enough time to, wow, it's radiating, this one. It's got like a glow, feels like a white, possibly light blue, like lightsaber almost glow to it. It feels like a glow, if that, I don't know if that makes any sense. Makes sense to me. But like I can feel its aura. It's very cold to the touch. Extremely cold, like ice. Like as if I just stuck my hand in the snow. Ice cold, blue, very light blue, like a glacier. This is definitely a water. This is a water energy tree. think the light just confirmed that. Yeah. Frozen water energy. So strong, so dense, you know. And we use the word density sometimes in a foul type of way, in an insulting type of way. Oh, you're so dense. But density is highly prized in the natural world. I mean, think about it. Density means that you're going to be around for a long time. Density is not just stubbornness. Density is durability, you know. Density is, I have a physical presence here and I'm not going anywhere, right? Until I've withered away every single layer of self, right? Density is longevity. That's a beautiful message. Wow. Yeah, like you think of the different density of planets and stars and gases and how much that can make a difference, right? From one tree to the next. I'm so glad I still have a Bitternut hickory on the property. It's such an interesting tree. Fascinating, and clearly it has a strong energy to it. Water, I was not expecting that. Very strong, very cold water element vibe to it. Strength, resilience, longevity. Love that. Man, what a practice it is, talking to the trees. And I mean, people don't understand the concept. I think we get confused on what magic really is, and, you know. That's why these type of videos are in my magic playlist, because this is magic. You want to talk about real life magic? This is it. This is it. Connecting with the natural world is, I mean, how can you not say that's not magical? It's a creative process. It's a beautiful thing. It's connecting with the same creative force that is responsible for your own existence. So it's hard not to see that as something magical or spiritual or both. So, oh, dropped my glove. Almost lost my glove. Found it just at the right time. All right. Well, that'll do it for another one. So hopefully I demonstrated there how easy it is to connect. Just a few minutes. If that's all you have, that's all you have. Just because you have 5-10 minutes, does that mean you're not going to connect with the trees, you know? And believe me, I have this internal conversation with myself all the time. Should I not? Oh, I only have 5 minutes. What's the point? There's always a point. There's never a reason not to. Really, as crazy as it sounds, even if it's 2 minutes, even if it's 10 seconds, even if it's just stopping for a moment and appreciating the tree. It's sort of like a little prayer, right? Just to give that energy of love and appreciation of how much you enjoy sharing its company on this earth and being alive with it right now in this time. That's magic. With that, I'll end it there. Thank you as always for watching. Really appreciate your viewership, and I'll catch you on the next one. May the source be with you. Peace out.